Hello. Oh, I can't hear you, Bill. No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
Um, I'm good. How are
I'm
you?
good, thank you. Thanks so much for inviting
Can
me
you hear me now?
to the one-to-one. How are you?
Of course.
I'm good. How are you? I'm good,
My
thank you.
God,
Thanks so
I'm
much
so
for
sorry.
inviting me to
Um,
the one-to-one.
our conversation last Sunday was so um, educational, and it was a great uh, discussion as a candidate. I thought you learned a lot. However, having six people on the panel only allowed us to get to the surface of you. So I wanted to reintroduce you to everybody. This is Riz Rahman. I believe you're the founder and director of Recruit Recruitomatic. Recruitomatic.
Recruitomatic, yeah,
Yes. So thank you for helping me there. When I
recruitomatic.
get
Yeah.
stuck, just jump in anytime. And you are a UK based recruiter, correct?
Correct. Yes.
So kind of tell us about your story. How did you get into this? What drives you? And then with the global economy that's going on, how can you help other uh, career seekers like myself get to the next level?
Yeah, definitely. So how it all began, um, the start of my journey was I was actually studying law at university. And the only reason why I picked law was because I didn't know what I was going to do. So after that, got into work, and I thought after university I might look into being an insurance broker. And that, if you know, I think you're aware, brokering in the UK, America, worldwide is pretty big, and it's a bit of a uh, massive financial gain as well for a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
Um, and you have to be a bit of a salesman for it as well. So my aim was to eventually become a chartered insurance broker, but that swiftly changed. Um, while I was working, I was offered an opportunity to start a teaching agency. So that was technically ourselves setting up an agency where we recruit teachers and send them to secondary schools, primary schools, and this was all in COVID. So that was running great. It was going amazing. And then again, I wanted to keep seeking this insurance brokerage dream while I was doing that. And I started working for an insurance brokerage as well, so I could learn the industry while I had the teaching agency going on in the background. And I remember this one day, the phone rang and I answered it, and someone said, "Can I speak to so and so in the office?" And I was like, "If you don't mind me asking, what's it regarding?" And they said, "Recruitment." I was
Okay.
like, "Okay, what is he on about here?" And then I goes, "If you don't mind me asking, what's your company called, etc." Took the details down. As I've left the office that day, I googled them. I was like, "Hang on, how are they doing so well?" And then that gave me the wake up call. Riz, you're already doing recruitment as a teaching agency. You
Right.
just didn't class it as that. So that's when I thought I need to become a full scale recruiter now. So that's how Recruitomatic actually took place over off that one phone call. That
You know,
phone call, yeah,
it's interesting how one thing can change our life. One little
yeah.
pebble in the road can shift your direction, and it pushes you to exactly where you're supposed to be. Um, so, what is teaching your passion? Is helping people your passion? Is
Yeah.
money your passion? I mean, we all have different things that drive us.
So at the time with the teaching agency, it was going really great. really good. But again, it was in COVID, so I could see that the business was not going to survive. So when that phone call happened and I looked into recruitment as a whole, I was like, okay, I can recruit just more than teachers. I could do the law industry, digital marketing, engineering, and I failed a lot of times finding the right industry as well. And the whole reason why I've become a recruiter is, yeah, it's not obviously there is a good financial aspect to it. We can't lie. Like a lot of people enjoy things that, you know, helps feed their family, pay their bills.
Right.
But that feeling of being able to help someone and, they remember yourself and, oh, that Riz, he helped me get a job once when I was struggling to pay my bills, my salary. Like we've had candidates in the past where their current salary was not covering their lifestyle and their bills, their children. It was really hard for them, and they needed that push to go get a salary that actually gives them a more comfortable life. So me helping them earning an extra 10 grand a year, making it easy for them to spend more time with their children, giving them the flexibility, they can go on more holidays. And knowing that, and they're like, oh, you know what, Riz? Because you helped me get this job that gives me an extra £10,000 a year, it's giving me more leeway to spend more time with my family, to spend more. Christmas is a lot better. If they celebrate Eid, they're like, Eid could be a lot better now. So, yeah, or any religious aspect they have, or any family gatherings, everything becoming a lot better due to my help. And me knowing that, it gives me huge satisfaction.
Yeah.
But the biggest satisfaction is the people who are out of work for a long time and you're able to get them a job.
Oh,
I think, yeah,
yeah. That's wonderful. And it sounds like what you do is you found your purpose and you've aligned that with your skill set in order to get that more powerful punch. So you kind of have a dual thing, and in turn it pays. So the money does come in. And I think when you're working with your passion, with something that really moves your soul and gives you some type of form of gratification, let's
yeah,
say, um, you you're more fulfilled in what you do. So you and I talked, and you absolutely thought I could do much better with presenting my resume. So let's talk about that and how you help people out there to really find their voice. I think one of the things that you said was you tried to be nice to me because I was so like, I'm so tired of redoing my resume 90 million times. And I kind of took it personally, but really what a resume is, it's you on paper. Um, but you talked to me about how you actually talk to the candidate and really try to understand who they are and then pull out of them the things that they need to actually highlight in their resume. So if you can go deeper into that, because I found that um, very rich, and I'd like you to share that in more detail with our audience out there.
yeah, definitely. So today, actually, I helped a vice president of a high street bank. Obviously, due to data protection, we won't disclose which bank it was and who they are.
Yeah,
But if they're watching, I think they're really happy. So they were looking to develop their career in the banking and financial industry. Um, being a vice president at a high street financial facility is a big thing in itself. So it makes
absolutely.
you think, wow, like how are they struggling to find a role? So the CV was sent to me and I looked at it, and sometimes it's not the format, it's not the layout. I think the layout looked amazing. It was clean. I could see everything.
Yeah,
But he needed that, or she needed that punch in the CV. So, like we spoke about last time, how long does a recruiter or a hiring manager take to look at your CV when you've applied for a job? Maximum 30 seconds.
yeah. I think we're like the consensus was 15 to 20 seconds, I
I think
believe.
so. Yeah,
Yeah,
15.
so I'm like, okay,
30 on a good day. 30
yeah,
when no one's applied and you're like, oh, okay, I'll have a look. And then I think the other speaker in the podcast, she was a career developer through LinkedIn, but she said she'd take 5 minutes, 6 minutes to look at a CV. But
Yes.
that's her job. But when I'm a CV writer, when I'm helping people to write their CVs, I take longer to look at a CV. But when it comes to recruitment as a hiring manager, or I think 99% of recruiters or hiring managers, they are looking at it for 20, 30, 15 to 20 seconds, yes. And
So,
it's like you go into a car showroom. What do you see? What's at the front of the window? Are they going to put the Nissan Micra at the front of the window? Or it's stuff like that, yeah.
right, right, right. You're gonna put your futuristic Ferrari at the front of the window to get people to just come in.
Yeah,
Yeah. So something that
correct, yeah.
almost seems unobtainable, but it makes you want to see what else is in there that might be attainable. It's a great perspective.
Correct, yeah.
But the challenge, Riz, and this is what I've faced, and you don't talk to me specifically, but to the audience.
Yeah.
While we were talking, I named off in one position what I did in a year. And if I did that for all of my positions, my resume would be like 4 pages long because I've been with most
Yes.
companies for like 6 years, right? So, I don't mention the 3 moves or, the go into detail about what it took to get the Israel office up and running and stuff like that. So, how I struggle with trying to figure out what the person on the other side wants to see. And so, if I put everything in it, I think just looking at how long it is, you're not. I don't think you're going to want to do it. So where do you cut it off? How do you do it?
Yeah. So, in about majority of hiring managers and recruiters, they aim for a CV to be 2 pages. So they
Okay,
say 2 pages. Myself, maybe because I'm a bit different, I'm okay with 3. As long as it fits the job description, I'm like, wow, I've got loads to talk about here.
right,
If I speak to the company hiring for this position, I've got tons to speak about them. So it just depends on let's say you see a role, Bill, and you're
right,
100% certain you are the fit for that role. You are the fit for that. You know deep in your heart, you've got everything that job description needs. I say tweak up your CV. Don't make it awfully long, but cover all aspects of that job description, which
right,
could even push it to 3. But
right,
it's worth it because that person who will be reading that specific CV for that specific job description will endlessly keep looking at that. They will actually score if it. So it'll have to start off at the top. If it aligns, they'll keep reading and reading, and yeah, you could get away with 3 pages.
okay. That sounds good. And actually, what you're saying is leave off the crap that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Because there's some things on my resume that may not align with the VP of customer care. It aligns more with global operations. So
correct.
focus on the VP of customer care, only the VP of customer care, and then go deep into those functions. And it could be up to 3 pages long. And then anything else would be fluff at the end or highlights, career highlights that you could do or
Yeah,
something like
correct.
that.
Or achievements. Um, you put your great achievements, but on your CV, writing. I'll give an example for you, Bill. Started my own podcast
Okay.
on your achievement. No, I wouldn't recommend putting that down. I would put in employment achievements.
Right.
Keep it all employment based.
Got it.
Um, but the harsh truth is, a lot of hiring managers, companies, they're not okay. You started a football team in your local area. To them, they're like, oh, okay. But someone like me, when I'm hiring for my company, I'm like, wow, he's got characteristics. But I'm speaking about the whole industry. I'll say majority of them, they aren't taking stuff like that into consideration.
Right.
They want, because the job market's so horrible right now. They just need facts about employment. What have you done in your current job? You
Right.
could even say on my spare time, I drive planes. I take pilot lessons. I don't think they would even look at that. Oh, just leave that to the side. Let's have a look what else they're up to.
Yeah.
I have seen some awful CVs. I'll give you an example of a bad CV. Every CV, your personal summary is the part where you can get the recruiter or hiring manager to stop and look. So that could be the Ferrari at the front of the door in the showroom. That will, whoa, okay. So I've seen the worst of the worst. I've seen people write, well, it's unfortunate it's happened to them, and obviously everyone goes through bad patches in life. They will actually write stuff like, "Hi, I am a person who's just recently come out of a divorce. I live on my own." So they're writing very personal things. Yeah. And you know what?
Right.
We sympathize, we understand, we're all human, we go through bad situations. But on your CV, I don't think that the very personal stuff needs to be on there unless you've had a gap in employment, say, let's for 3 years. You can write medical issues, and then at interview stage, they'll ask, okay, if you don't mind me asking, what was medical issues, stuff like that. Or some people have been traveling, so you can
Right.
write traveling, etc. But I think going too personal in your CV about your personal life, sometimes, or some people write, live on my own with 2 dogs.
Well,
I've
that no,
seen
I just said that yesterday.
on your CV.
No, 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 no. On here,
Yeah.
because I do live on my own with 2 dogs, and I
Oh,
live by,
okay.
and I live by the beach, guys. So it's great. It's wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's interesting. So I've been thinking about some of the things that you've said. I haven't taken action yet. About my LinkedIn profile and
Okay.
things there. So I have been thinking about it, and one of the issues is I don't want to do anything too fast because once I change something, it's changed.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not exactly sure if so we were just being open. I'm not actually sure if I would want to do a secondary profile
Yeah.
because then it would actually duplicate in some ways my job history, but then scrape it wouldn't include all of the newsletter and the followers and all the other stuff. And I think it would confuse some people if they looked me up just by Googling me or whatever and saw, okay, this is this guy and he's standing to the side on this one, and this is the guy and he's looking at the camera on this one. So which is the real guy and which one do I go after? And this guy has no followers and this guy has a decent amount of followers. So I'm really conflicted. So I'm not saying that I have uh, that was funny. I haven't ignored your comments. I've just been thinking it through to determine what's really best for me. And the other part, which I struggle with, and I'm going to ask you directly because I think it's great to get things out in the open, is I I like what I've done and I like what I'm doing and I'm proud of it. And I don't know if it's the best fit for me to scale back to make someone else feel comfortable. And so
Yeah.
that's one of the things I struggle with because you're like, some people might be intimidated, or some people might find that a conflict of interest, or some people might, well, I'm not getting paid for it. I'm doing it because I have free time. I'm giving back to the community by having open conversations with skilled recruiters. I'm giving a skilled recruiter a platform to talk about his company. I mean, so I get so much gratification out of what I'm doing. It's not a monetary thing. Um, and so since you and I spoke, I've been struggling with that one question, or that one theory. Um, Kind of, give suggestions to other people out there while I'm still trying to
Yeah.
grapple with it in my own head.
I think a LinkedIn profile, certain recruiters, hiring managers, companies, they do end up searching and looking at your LinkedIn. Not all. I would say 3 out of 10 will. this is from the UK perspective, 3 out of 10 will look at your LinkedIn. Them three would be for roles where I'd say they're a bit of a niche, especially if you're a recruiter. If you're applying for a recruitment job, they would actually find you on LinkedIn because they understand that recruiters use LinkedIn. So with your LinkedIn as well and anyone else's LinkedIn, if you are applying for jobs, it is very important to make sure, it does look like you are using it now and again. Or it doesn't really actually matter as long as there's nothing controversial on there. With yourself, when I look at your LinkedIn, I'm like, wow. I actually get amazed. I'm like, wow. Like from the outside perspective, you look like the Ferrari in the showroom, and I genuinely think you've actually built such a great platform for yourself. You've got your podcast. Um, Me personally, I'd give you a bit more advice. If you did want to pursue this into a business, this would definitely go well. But if it's just something like you said, you just want to give back to the community, yeah, I think it's a great thing. But like you said, with yourself setting up a new LinkedIn profile, I know people out there like who might have a business on the side and they don't want their employer to know or their side hustle. It, it is possible to create another LinkedIn and make that just solely your purpose for employment. Um, so with myself, if I did, let's say, start applying for jobs, I would actually keep my recruitment, Riz Rahman profile on LinkedIn, try to keep it as discreet as possible. Or if I was applying for a job, I'd actually have to put down that I've stopped doing any external recruitment and I'm just solely looking for a job. Um, yeah, so it just depends. And I know with yourself, you're feeling like you've built such a platform, you've built such an audience now, and you don't want to give that away or have a duplicate of basically a shadow of yourself as well.
Right.
It does make sense, but if you're in desperate needs and you feel like your LinkedIn profile might hinder your chances of getting a job due to your publicity, your influence, etc., I would recommend, not strongly, but recommend maybe you can set up another LinkedIn account, but not a burner account, but a LinkedIn account just solely for your employment searching purposes.
Right. Right. It again, I'm not discounting that advice. I'm
Yeah,
just taking it in. And just like I think Kenneth says, but wow, and, you said you look at my LinkedIn profile and it says, wow, you like,
yeah,
this guy is, but it doesn't pay the bills as Kenneth is putting there. And it's also interesting because I had a separate conversation with Lanier from
yeah.
our show, and we're gonna do well, I can't announce it yet. She told me to be quiet. But
Okay,
we're gonna speak like you and I. We're gonna do a one-on-one.
yeah,
Um,
amazing.
and her perspective was a little bit different. So I'm just taking it all in. And
Yeah,
then
definitely.
we went for 2 hours, but we didn't go deep into each one of you. So that's what I'm trying to give that time back.
Different views.
And I'm being very, very, keep looking at the clock to make sure we're within our hour. So, I'm going to cut it off on time, but
Don't worry.
that's where I'm grappling. So I think what you say makes sense. And I'm also thinking, Angela said, Bill, are you a bot? So if I had two out there,
Yeah,
how many people are going to think that?
that's true. That's true.
Um,
Uh,
and
yeah,
go ahead.
sorry. I was going to say, but employer, the right employer that you're destined to work for, he or she would accept you for who you are.
Yeah, yeah,
There is people out there like myself. If I was looking for someone like yourself and I seen you got a podcast, and I would think, oh my god, this is a win-win for me. He's got a podcast. He's got enough followers. He'd blow up my business even more. So yeah, there is good with what you're doing. I think there's amazing. Like I said, the right employer destined for you, they would accept you for who you are and what you're doing.
Right.
and then you've got the harsh side of the job hunting industry who are just like, no. That's why I'd rather give you both sides of the
Right.
truth.
Right.
I don't
No.
want to I don't want to sugarcoat it. I want to tell you that there is people who look at you and think, oh wow. Then there's them other people. Wow, I love what they're doing. Bring him onto the business. He could actually be our business development manager.
Right. Right. I mean, I love feedback. That's how you build great teams. That's how you build great networks. That's how you build great relationships. And uh, Kenneth has given me a lot of coaching on the side, saying don't take too much time to take it all in. You need to move on these things quick, because there is that. There's more going out than what's coming in. Let's put it that way. So
Yeah,
how long can you take it all in, right? But I'm just in that crossroads of how do you do it. And it's interesting too, because I'm talking constantly about uplifting people, helping people figure out their job searches. I've been a cheerleader for Angela since we met last week on her job search, and she's been a cheerleader for me too. But I can't understand why I have an open to work on my LinkedIn, and no one's like, let me knock that door down. What I get instead are people trying to sell me something. You
okay.
know, hey, I'd love to help you out. Hey, I can get you and your team. So I'm like, you're not reading my profile. It
Mm,
clearly says open to work. And then if you either want to hire me directly or hire me as a consultant, I'll take either one. But I don't know what about it reads that I'm willing to spend $100,000 on a sales call. Uh-oh, Felipe is here. Felipe promised me 15 seconds on my resume, and he's never given it. Just a little nudge. Um, so yeah, how do you help people when they feel stuck as a recruiter? And then how do you actually find clients as a recruiter? Do you find the candidate first and then go out searching for the job? Or do you
mm,
find the job first and go out searching for the candidate? Or is it a mix of both?
very good question. I think we'll start with the first question of how we uplift people. That's why I started the CV writing as well, because I thought, okay, I'm recruiting people for jobs. Not everyone I speak to I can get a job for. So, like I said, recently had a vice president of a high street bank. I'm not in the financial industry, so I can't actually help them to find a job in the financial industry. But what I can do, let me have a look at your CV.
Right.
Then, so that was my offshoot of helping. So Riz tries to help as much as he can. If I can put you to the right direction, I will. If I can put you through to someone who can help you, yes, I will. So yeah, I thought if I can't help with the recruitment process, I'll help with the application process. So the before any type of conversation takes place, I do a consultation call where I ask a lot of questions and we look at your CV together. And then I'll explain to them what I'd expect to see from a CV. I'd ask certain questions about accomplishments, basically things that will dress up the CV for them 15 to 20 seconds for the recruiter to have a look at. Or I could totally revamp the CV. I think with people as well who are low esteemed and believe that they won't be able to find a job, I'd give them hope. I'd tell them about our testimonial stories where we've had people who couldn't find a job, explain to them what happened, how we helped, or I'd definitely just put them to the right people. And you asked about our recruitment process and how we get clients. Do we find candidates first? So how we do it at Recruitmatic, we're a bit different. So we've already got a bit of a candidate base because of our marketing. I feel like I like to speak to people every day, even when I'm in the gym.
Yeah.
Everyone in the gym knows about Recruitomatic. Everywhere I go, they know about Recruitomatic. So candidates is not really our issue. It's our issue. Well, not an issue, but our point where we may sometimes struggle is finding clients to work with. But recently, we've overcome that since January 2025. Um, we've actually done the hard part of gaining the candidates, had them all on standby, and now it's just non-stop connections with the hiring managers, companies who are looking to hire, and we just got the candidates already or fired, ready to go. And yeah, that's how our process goes. So we started off with the candidate base, built that up, and now we're just fully focusing on getting new clients on board.
Got it. So one of the other things that has always concerned me about getting a recruiter to actually assist is how many companies might not want to pay that referral fee, because it's something like 20 to 30% for most companies, I believe.
Yeah, so in America, in the US, the minimum fee is 20%. In the
Okay.
UK, average fee is 15%. So a lot of companies 15. Some don't work under 15. But if it's like yourself who started a company and you're small, I understand you wouldn't be able to afford 15%. I understand
Right.
you wouldn't be able to. You started. So if you're an SME, small to medium sized enterprise, we'd sit down and negotiate. We'd even set up payment plans to pay the fee. So we'd say you can split it across 3 months. And
Right.
our rebate period is 3 months. So if the candidate leaves within 3 months, there's some sort of refund as well.
So
Once the first,
go into that, because most of them it's 30 days, right? Or is it always
yeah.
90? What's the
No, so
average?
you'd be shocked. Some recruitment agencies now are actually very flexible um, with the refund process. So it used to be a lot of companies, uh, which I looked down. Well, I wouldn't say look down upon, but they definitely need to change their protocol. Where if the candidate leaves within the first month, they're not giving 100% back.
Right.
They're giving
It's
80%, and I'm like, that's not really fair. Something's gone wrong. So I've like even with purchases in the UK, if you purchase something, you're entitled to get a refund within 14 days with any type of product, and you can do an exchange within 30 days. So I've used that kind of model, but me personally, I just refund the amount. It's never happened to us before, by the way. All our candidates have stayed, but aftercare as a business is the main thing. Honestly,
ooh.
aftercare, all types of business is very important. If anyone is listening, I would definitely take pride in your aftercare. It's not about the current transaction. It's not about what happens before. It's all about what happens after. When things hit the fan, where are you?
Huh?
Yeah, that's exactly how I think about it. So yeah, with ourselves, we have a 3 month rebate period. If it's a pretty big role, we could even go up to 6 months. Um, yeah, so that's how we actually have our process. And in the UK, 3 months is normally probation period for a workplace, and sometimes it can be 6 months as well.
So in the UK, how long does it normally take a candidate to find a position? And at each level. So entry level positions are always like super easy because they're usually hiring. It's like a revolving door for most entry
Mm,
level positions.
okay.
But for mid management and then executive and then C suite, like what's the average?
So entry level, say about 2 years ago, yeah, you're right. You just apply for a role, and you probably get in return after 3 4 months. Um, Now I've spoke to a lot of people. They're actually struggling to even get the entry level now. The UK's economy crisis is actually awful right now. There's a lot of high taxes now. There's so much political um, torment onto the economy. It's not because I wouldn't blame the new um, the new government in power. I wouldn't blame that. I would just actually blame the way that we've been leading up to this. It's actually affected a lot of young people, and in the UK as well, we have huge problems with the youth crime. A lot of people getting involved in crime from a young age. That's how bad the economy is going right now in the UK. So we try our best to try reach out to people in schools sometimes as well. Maybe we can go to a school and give them a CV seminar and try to make them understand how important a CV is at a young age to get them ready to get into the world of jobs. Yeah, overall, entry level, I think right now is difficult, but yeah, it could be 3 to 6 months. With senior type positions, I could speak about the engineering sector. Engineering sector's picked up very well this year since January. I've seen a huge turnover of candidates getting jobs. They might have been out of work maximum 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah,
There you go, guys.
max,
Technology, right?
maximum 2 months, and one candidate's not getting one phone call from Riz. They're
Got
getting
you.
what 15 phone calls from different recruiters. They are busy. Yeah, that's what
That's
I've
great
seen.
to hear.
Yeah, so I think multi-skilled people, even like plumbers, gas engineers, any type of engineering, they're the ones who are getting the phone calls now. Because in the UK, especially in Manchester, we're getting a lot of development happening in the city. Due to, if you follow football, the Man United football team, Manchester United, they're
Yeah.
having a new stadium built. So many things like that are happening in the best city in England, which is Manchester.
Manchester. Yeah. That's
So
what you
yeah, and a
say.
lot's happening in London as well. So the engineering sector is really, really busy. I'd say the sector that is very overcrowded and people have been out of work for a long time is digital marketing.
Yeah.
You scream SEO, open your top window and scream SEO in England, 10 SEO agents will turn up at your doorstep. There's
Right.
that many digital marketers right now, it's oversaturated.
Right. And with, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not, but if you understand algorithms and if you understand AI, I mean, the SEO part becomes really simple. So
Yeah.
that kind of makes sense. And then for like a C-level position,
So let's say managing director, vice president,
right?
there's still demand for them. They're more likely to get more interviews, but their interview processes are very, very long. So
Yeah.
yeah, so they might have 20 interviews, but an engineer might have 3, and he gets yeses on all 3.
And let's be clear, when you say engineering, you mean like a building engineer, not a
Yeah, so
technical
I'll give you an example. Yeah.
developer.
So civil engineers,
Okay, got you.
design engineers,
Right,
structural engineers,
right. I,
aerospace. Yeah.
I thought technology initially, like
Oh, okay. Yeah.
you know,
Yes, there is software engineers. There is that sector.
yeah,
That we class that as the tech sector, but the
right,
tech
right.
sector in the UK as a recruiter is very hard to get into.
Is it?
It is very hard.
So I have a question for you. Is
Yeah.
your economy bad because the US economy is bad, or
Yeah.
okay,
I'd say, yeah, whatever happens in the US sometimes mirrors onto the UK.
right?
I'm just saying, as a layman perspective, what I see from the news. I'm not a political expert. From what I see, um, sometimes we are joint.
Yeah,
With whatever happens in the West, it does affect us
it's a
together.
global economy. So
Yeah,
every it's like a butterfly that flaps in the wind that causes a hurricane, right?
yeah,
It's whenever something happens on one end, there is a counter effect, a ripple effect throughout the entire world. And saying that we're isolated, or everything's just going to happen here, boom, it's not going to be the way to really uplift a global economy.
Yeah.
So
With
that's
the, with the wars that are happening across the globe as well. Well, I'm a person of peace. Hopefully, we all get peace. We're all human, no matter what religion, what color.
I
We're all
agree.
human, and innocent lives are classed as innocent lives. So we need to stop all the wars. And with wars, that affects the UK and the US. I remember when the Ukraine war began. Um, Mortgage rates in the UK and the banking system in the UK would be affected as well due to certain wars. And yeah, so I think obviously wars happen, and that's not something that we can prevent. But yeah, whatever happens in the US, I think it does kind of mirror into the UK.
It makes sense. So one of the things that you said was you do seminars regarding CV writing at some schools. Is that right?
Yeah, so yeah, if I could get invited to a school to help teach children or young teenagers the importance about your CV, to give them a kickstart into
Yep.
the new world when they leave school or get into college. I think college is when, in the UK, we have primary school. I think you guys cast that as, is it kindergarten?
First
What?
elementary,
Elementary. Then after
yeah,
elementary, you've got high school.
right.
Yeah, we've got secondary school, and then we've got college. So yeah, college is where a lot of people start seeking for jobs, and like I said, a lot of people they 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 aren't given the skill set to understand how important a CV was. I understood how important a CV was very very late, and probably when I was like 20 years old. So imagine what if I knew at 16 what I could have achieved. So yeah, if schools did contact us, we would definitely, on behalf of Recruitmatic, go out to help children understand the importance of CVs.
Have you ever done a live webinar?
I was going to do one last year. I was, but obviously you get really busy. But I think this opportunity with you is um, maybe the tip of the iceberg for, uh, you know, a discussion about CVs. And yeah, I'd definitely look into it. Maybe me and yourself could plan something in the future. Um,
Absolutely, man. I think anything that we can do to give back. And Felipe told me last week to take my own advice, but it's easier for me to promote someone else than it
it's true.
is promote myself. So it's kind of counterintuitive because I'm always talking about the team and helping other people get to attain those goals, and I'm not used to going, "Yay, Bill!" And so I would love to collab on that and to add that as maybe a Substack once a month or every 60 days. Um, and then you take over on your own and do what you want to do. I'll just make you a presenter and you know help everyone else learn from your experience. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely, Bill. I
Okay.
think with yourself, you like to give a lot. That
I do.
your time is coming. You're gonna get 10 heaps in return.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. Um, so do you have any final thoughts? I want to wrap everything up because you gave me an hour, and so let's get
We've still got 15 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
could.
But I want you to hit all of your core things that you want people to know about you, about Recruitomatic,
Yeah,
and how to reach you, and the services that you offer, and like I want you to just really promote you, how to get in contact with you, and how your technique to just make sure everyone shines around you.
yeah, definitely. So, like I think we're all aware now, my name's Riz, and Recruitomatic, I'm the founder and director of, one of the founders, and we started this recruitment agency to help people in the engineering sector. Well, that's what it narrowed down to at the end. We went from the legal, we went through so many industries. Now we finally hit our pinnacle, and we've finally agreed that engineering is our sector. We've been building this talent pool for over 3 years now, and we've got a huge client base now across the UK. Any type of engineering we were able to fill. But that doesn't mean Recruitomatic just stops there. If you're someone who's struggling to find a job and you need help with a CV, no matter what industry, we can always sit down with you and help you, sort out your CV and try help you with your career, try put you through to the right direction. And if there's any way, I can help or give you any advice, you're more than happy to add me on LinkedIn. You could even email me at riz.r@recruitomatic.co.uk. And if you can't find me, you can speak to Bill. Bill will somehow
Yeah.
find me. But
Yeah.
yeah, if there's anything that we can do to help any charities or any type of promotion to give back to the communities, either it's in the US, either it's in the UK, Recruitomatic are more than happy to be involved. And again, it's always been a pleasure to be sat with Bill, and it's been a great opportunity to give people an insight of Recruitomatic and how we all began.
So one of the things I think we should end with is one of the things that you led with and have said multiple times. Right now, engineering is your sweet spot, but you tried
Yes,
multiple things before you
I
found
did.
your sweet spot. And
That's
so,
so true.
I think we need to remind people that, the direction you're heading in, like that pebble in the road, it may shift and you're going to end up on the right path eventually if you just
Exactly.
don't stop,
Yes.
So
What
everyone
Bill
thinks,
said there,
yeah.
you've hit it there perfectly. You hit the nail on the head there, Bill. With that pebble analogy. Do you want to say that again so the viewers listen to that one more time?
Well, because in life, there could be a small pebble in the road that kind of shifts your direction. And I wrote about it in one of my news articles and called Blindsided. And you're not being blindsided, you're being redirected and pushed into your chosen path. So when I was listening to you, you were saying we failed in multiple industries before we found the right one, but you found the right one. I'm proud of you. I, it takes a lot of integrity. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of commitment to move forward when, you try this, but you keep trying.
Definitely. Honestly, like I try to be as honest as possible. I'm not going to say it's all glitz and glamour at Recruitomatic. It's
It
not
never
like,
is.
yeah, it was not like overnight we found our industry. No, we failed, we got back up, we failed, we got back up, and then we found an industry where we were naturally great at. We had the connections, we had the network, and yeah, we kept going. Another thing as well, as long as you're going towards the right direction, that's better than not going to any direction at all. So it doesn't matter how long it takes you to get there, but as long as you're going to that right direction of success, you will get there in the end. And another quote that I'd like to always mention as well, be tolerant of others, but don't be tolerant on yourself. So what that means is with other people, be nice, be kind. You can understand that some people, make mistakes, but with yourself, if you want success, if you're not waking up on time, if you're not making that extra jump to do something great, it won't happen. It's all onto yourself, because at the end of the day, no one's going to come and save you. It's all down to you.
Absolutely.
It's all down to you. And
Absolutely.
maybe you've been put on this earth to elevate others. That's why you waiting for people to elevate you will never come. So that's how I looked at
Wow.
it. Yeah. So I used to wait. Well, I used to be like, oh, I wonder what that day is going to come where that millionaire just reaches out his hand and he shakes it with me. And no, that day never came. Then I realized I was put on this earth maybe to elevate others like yourself, Bill. You've elevated me today, and how many
Hey,
others?
but that's I think that's why we're on the earth. It's not really to be selfish and
Yeah,
there's a difference between selfish and self-care. So let's be open there. But
yeah,
I believe that if we are one being, if we are one humanity, if we are one universe, if we are one love, then our inspiration, motivation, and manifestation come from how we treat everyone around us. And I'll leave this with this. It is important to treat everyone with the same sense of respect and dignity, no matter who they are and what they can do for you. You know, it costs someone who is not working a lot more to give someone $1 than it costs someone who has $15 million to give 10,000. So we need to treat everyone with dignity. I don't care if you're the CEO or the janitor. Every single person in that business is a part of your team. Every single person that you encounter, either in the grocery store or at the gas station or sitting by the road, is a connection that we as neighbors and those with a sense of unity are here to uplift. And for me, guys, that is my thought of the day, as well as my final thought.
Oh, Bill, honestly, it's always a pleasure being on here. I genuinely feel like I've got a good connection with yourself, and I think you definitely are heading towards the right direction. You're
Thank
not the
you.
pebble on the road. You're the diamond in the road who just needs to be found.
Oh my God. Everyone should tell me that every single day.
Yeah, you definitely have. I can see the growth and potential in this. I'd
Thank
say
you.
keep going with your podcasts, keep inviting people over, get that YouTube channel, subscribe, get the subscribers up. We're
Thank
there,
you.
but we definitely have another conversation again soon as well.
Absolutely, because we need to talk about the webinar piece. And if we really want to do it, I don't say anything that I don't mean. And also, I want to remind everybody that Angela Gear, who was on our show last week, her dog Scooby needs surgery. So anyone that wants to contribute to her GoFundMe for Scooby can look on my account and you'll see that link. The reason why I keep sharing is because Angela's been looking for a job for 15 months. And she was saying that the only thing that solace that she had was that she had her dogs. And Scooby had an accident on Monday and needs surgery. So I'm not in a position to donate right now, but I am in a position to scream at the top of my lungs to everyone out there that's listening that we're only about $300 away from her hitting her goal. So with that said, you and I, Riz, have a lot to communicate about. Go to sleep, my friend. I know it's late in the UK, and I really, really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Bill. And we'll speak again. It's always been a pleasure.
Okay, man. Bye.
Okay.